risk to get here late.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Ivo. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Sorry. I hoped to finish before, but I couldn't manage. I'm always late. I don't know how I can manage to be always late. But anyway, here I am now. Welcome back. Welcome back. How are you? How are you, Rita? How are you, Ivo?
Hi,
How are you,
thanks.
Stefania? Hi, Stefania.
Hi.
Laura, where's Laura? I can't see Laura. Hi, Ilaria.
Thanks.
Here. Here I am.
Everything okay?
Oh, yes.
Okay, okay.
Good, 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 good. So, what would you like to do today? Hi, Laura, here you are. Where are your wonderful children?
The girl is near me.
Oh, there she is.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful,
the beautiful princess.
It's always dressed like a princess.
Like
and
a
the boy is
princess.
crying.
Because she's a princess.
Thank you.
What about the other one?
He's crying as usual.
Don't you go and take him?
It's with the dad.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
It's at home.
Yeah, okay, perfect. What about you, Ilaria? Hi, Ilaria, welcome. And Georgia.
Hi.
Wow. Hi, hello. Everything okay? No, okay. I suppose everything is okay since she's here. Hi, Georgia. Now, wait a second. Welcome, Georgia. I thought you couldn't come, but you did it. Fantastic, good. Now, you got the information that today we were going to start at 5:30, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was a little worried, to be honest, but now what I needed to do is, before I forget, to find fantastic, good. Now, the sign form for you. No, that's documents. You're going up? Right. So what date is it today? The 16th of March. 16th of March. Where is it? It's not in here. It's in Forbes. So the 16th of March. Here it is. Are you studying a little bit? Are you doing something with all the material I sent you? You listening to the listenings and so on?
Yes.
Good. How are you going on? Can you manage to?
I tried to do my best.
Try to?
I try to do my best.
You try your best, of course, everybody does. Now, I've posted in the chat the link to sign the presents.
Okay, thank you.
There it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right. Now, while you sign the presents, I would like to look for something to do today. Now, my idea was, to have a last look at reading and use of English, and then from next time to start with the listening part, and finally to introduce you to the two possibilities, the paper-based test and the computer-based test. So you can see the difference and you can decide which is better for you. And then according to whether you want to do the paper-based or the computer-based, we can do some few more exercises, final ones. So is it okay as a roadmap for you?
Okay, okay.
Okay, so shall we have a look at the reading and use of English for the time today? Now, reading and use of English. Do you remember there are 7 parts? Part 1, 2, 3, and 7 are valued 1 mark each answer. Part 4, 5, and 6 up to 2 marks. So can be 2 marks, 1.5, 1 mark, 0.5. Okay. So the other ones are either 1 mark or nothing. The parts of 4, 5, 6 can be a maximum of 2, a minimum of 0. So can be 1, 1.5, 2. Okay. Now let's have a look at part 1. In part 1, there's a text with 8 gaps. And below it, there are 4 possibilities. You have to choose which is the correct answer, A, B, C, or D, the correct word to put into the gap. Yes, Stefania?
Can you make it bigger? Because
Yes.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Just let me organize myself. Where is the... okay, maybe I can do it here.
Or here, 100, you can make it
Yes,
more
but where can you see 100?
on the left.
Okay, here. Okay. Is it working?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Okay, okay.
Right.
Yes.
So, who wants to start? Do you want to start reading? Shall I do it?
You are
Okay, I can do it.
Okay, go, Ivo.
Hmm. I can't read all the text in the right side because
Oh, okay.
now
Let's
it's
do
better.
like this. Okay.
Silk is okay. Silk is natural protein fiber, some forms of which can be into
Into
textile.
textiles. So can be stitched, woven, or knitted, or crocheted. What
woven.
does stitch means?
Stitch. I don't know.
What does stitch mean? Stitch mean cucito.
Ah,
Cucire. Woven, lavorato a maglia.
mhm.
Knitted, anche lavorato a maglia, però con i ferri, quando si fa con i ferri.
Mhm.
Con i ferri. E
Crochet.
crochet è fare ricamato, diciamo.
Oh.
Quindi, ma ci sono poi le istruzioni? No. Ok. Quindi cosa mettiamo secondo voi?
Natural protein fiber, some form of which can be
Abbiamo una programmazione.
I think the first.
Allora, silk, we are talking about silk, is a natural protein fiber.
Ecco, legge 223. Perché qua su 21 marzo c'è scritto durante la programmazione per le scuole primarie.
Okay,
No,
Sabrina, can you switch your audio on?
can be crocheted. Into
Can be
crocheted, ricamata.
I don't know. let's see if I can find. I would say stitch can be woven, maybe woven into textiles. Let's say woven for the moment.
Woven.
But
Woven.
I go and look for the answers, and so we can see it. Okay, let's go on it for the moment.
Okay. The protein fiber of silk is composed mainly of fibrin and is by certain insect larvae to form cocoons.
Cocoons. Quindi the fiber of silk is the protein fiber is composed mainly of fibrin and is by certain insect larvae. Is produced, manufactured, invented, or offered.
Produced.
Yes, produced. Produced by certain insect larvae to form cocoons.
The best known silk is obtained from the cocoons of the larvae of the mulberry silkworm Bombyx mori, which is reared in.
It's reared in chains, cells, prison, captivity. Captivity. Yes.
Captivity.
Yes. Who wants to go on?
The mulberry silkworm Bombyx, what is?
It's the name of
Bombyx
the
mori è il tipo di, come si chiama? Bacco da seta. Si chiama
Bacco, bacco da
Bombyx
seta.
mori.
Okay.
The silkworm.
Silkworm.
Bombyx mori è il nome del bacco da seta.
The worm sai il verme.
Sì, il bacco.
Bacco.
Ok. The shimmering appearance. Chi vuole andare avanti?
I can do of
Yeah,
silk
thank you.
is due to the triangular prism-like structure of the silk fiber or fiber, which
Silk cloth to refract incoming light at different angles. Okay. Which encourages, tempts, allows. Okay. Allows silk cloth to refract
incoming light at different angles, thus producing different colors.
Exactly.
Silk is produced by several insects, but over the years, only the silk of moth caterpillars have been used for textile, although there has been some into other types of silk. Okay.
Okay. So, has been used for textile, although there have been some into other types. Okay. Com'era? Aspetta, mi sono persa.
Has been used for
textile.
For textile.
Fabricating, constructing, assembling, manufacturing.
Manufacturing.
Yes, I would say manufacturing. Manufacturing. Only the silk of moth caterpillars have been used for textile manufacturing, although there has been some into other types of silk. Some scrutinizing, probing, research, interrogation. Research. Some research into other types of silk. Okay, who wants to finish?
Silk is mainly produced by the larvae of insects undergoing metamorphosis, but
Complete, entire, thorough, intense.
Complete.
Complete.
Ok? Siete tutti d'accordo con complete?
Complete.
Ok, ho trovato le risposte. Yes, complete.
Complete.
No, perché in the meantime, I was looking for the results.
Yes.
Okay, complete,
Complete
metamorphosis.
metamorphosis, but some insects, such as web
Such as
Web spinners.
web spinners and raspy crickets produce silk their lives.
over.
Silk through,
Through.
entirely, completely, throughout
Throughout.
their lives. Exactly. Ok, allora ho le risposte. Dunque, silk is a natural protein fiber, some forms of which can be woven. Era
Okay.
giusto. Woven into textiles. The protein fiber of silk is composed mainly of a fibrin and is produced
Okay.
by certain insect larvae to form cocoons. The best known silk is obtained from the cocoons of the larvae of the mulberry silkworm Bombyx mori, which is reared in captivity. Bene, abbiamo fatto tutto giusto?
Okay.
The shimmering appearance of silk is due to the triangular prism-like structure of the silk fiber, which allows silk cloth to refract incoming light at different angles, thus producing different colors. Silk is produced by several insects, but over the years, only the silk of moth caterpillars has been used for textile manufacturing. Okay, quindi manufacturing. Although there has been some research into other types of silk. Silk is mainly produced by the larvae of insects undergoing complete metamorphosis. But some insects, such as web spinners and raspy crickets, produce silk throughout their lives. Ok? Quindi erano tutte giuste. Congratulations. Good. Okay. Now, in exercise 2, again, there's a text with 8 gaps and the usual 4 words to insert in each gap, but no, it's the same. Okay, it's the same. Okay, who wants to try it? Però non doveva essere uguale, mi pareva che doveva essere che lo mettevate voi questa volta. Boh, vabbè. Okay, who wants to try it, to read it?
Okay, I can do it.
Yes, thank you.
Akbar was a Mughal emperor from 5056 until his death. He was the third ruler of the Mughal in India. India non so come si dica.
India.
Quindi
Quindi, the third ruler of the Mughal sect, clan, dynasty, family.
dynasty.
Yes, dynasty in India.
A strong and successful general, a strong
Personality, celebrity, idol or icon.
Icon.
Personality.
Personality.
Yes,
Personality.
I would say personality.
Mm.
A strong personality. Yes, personality. I'm checking. A strong personality and a successful general.
Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire.
Enlarged
Enlarged.
the Mughal Empire.
Okay. His power and influence, however, over the entire country because of Mughal military, political, and cultural and economic dominance.
Yes, cultural and economic. No, my fault. Stretched, extended, covered, encompassed. Fatemi rileggere.
Extended.
His power and influence, however, yes, extended over the entire country because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. Giusto? Avevamo detto extended.
Extended, yes.
Yes, extended. Okay. Then, to unify. Chi vuole andare avanti?
Me, Roberta.
Yes. Thank you,
To
Roberta.
unify the vast Mughal state, Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy of conciliating rulers through marriage and diplomacy.
Okay. Of conciliating, conquered, humiliated, dominated, and subdued.
What's dominated?
Establish a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy of conciliating rulers through marriage.
No, probably submitted.
No, non c'è.
No.
Conquered
or dominated or conquered.
Dominated.
Let me check. Conquered. Conquered rulers through marriage and diplomacy.
Okay.
La risposta giusta era conquered.
Ok.
Sì, però effettivamente poteva anche vabbè. Ok. To preserve peace.
To preserve peace and order in a religiously and culturally empire. Yeah.
Disparate, contrasting, assorted, diverse.
Assorted? May I look again?
Io avrei detto diverse, però fatemi controllare. To preserve peace and order in a religiously and culturally, yes, diverse. Cosa che mi hai detto, scusa?
The last.
Assorted.
Sì.
Allora, fatemi controllare. Diverse qua dà come risposta giusta.
Diverse, like you said.
Okay.
Yeah. So D. Okay, he adopted
policies that won him the support of his non-Muslim subjects. Mughal India, a strong and stable economy.
Allora, Mughal India, matured, advanced, developed, or progressed?
Developed.
Developed or matured?
Io metterei developed.
Anch'io.
Fatemi controllare. Developed. Developed a strong and stable economy.
Leading to commercial expansion and greater patronage of culture. May I continue? Akbar himself was of art and culture. Was
was a sympathizer, advocate, owner, or patron.
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 Yes.
Oh,
Patron of art and culture.
Owner? What means owner?
Proprietario?
Proprietario,
proprietario.
esatto. To own vuol dire possedere, avere, quindi owner è il possessore, il proprietario.
Okay.
Ma in questo caso è un patrono delle arti, patron of art and culture. Ok?
He was of a king, forse. He was king of literature and
dopo
created
guardiamo.
a library of over 24,000 or million, volumes.
A library of over
Library.
24,000 volumes. Allora, vediamo se c'è kin. Fond, kin, adored, cherished.
Oppure
Però
fond
potrebbe
o
anche
kin,
essere
fond,
però.
yeah. Fond, probably.
O kin. Com'era la questione?
He was
sì, fond of literature.
Literature, ok.
In on, fond of, sì.
Fond of, yeah.
Fond of.
Yes, fond of literature. Ok, quindi ve lo rileggo.
Affettuoso.
Come si può dire in italiano?
Fanatico.
Appassionato.
Appassionato, sì.
Ok. Appassionato, sì, perché ho guardato la traduzione.
Ok, allora ve la rileggo con le correzioni giuste, con le cose giuste. Akbar was a Mughal emperor from 1556 until his death. He was the third ruler of the Mughal dynasty in India, a strong personality and a successful general. Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire. His power and influence, however, extended over the entire country because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. To unify the vast Mughal state, Akbar established a centralized system of administration throughout his empire and adopted a policy of conciliating conquered rulers through marriage and diplomacy. To preserve peace and order in a religious and culturally diverse empire, he adopted policies that won him the support of his non-Muslim subjects. Mughal India developed a strong and stable economy, leading to commercial expansion and greater patronage of culture. Akbar himself was a patron of art and culture. He was fond of literature and created a library of over 20,000 volumes.
Good.
Okay, good. Right. Now, to be honest, I think these are both exercises of part 1. So, where are the others? Where are part 2 and, wait a second. Okay, no, this is listening. Exercise. Okay, this is this is the same as before. No, this is the same. This is writing. I hope to have the other parts. Okay, sorry. Let's go straight to the website, which was English. I think. Okay, reading and use of English. Okay, that was part 1. But we want also part 2. Where's part 2? Here it is. Okay. Part 2. In part 2, you are given a text with 8 spaces, but you must find out by your own, the correct word. Okay? Oh, we can try it here. Fantastic. Okay, so the crowd. Who wants to read it?
Well,
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Go, Ivo.
Yes.
Okay.
Go,
Okay.
Ivo.
Yes.
We are
Maria
checking
Pia?
the.
Yes.
I'm Roberto. Sorry for the late. I just follow
Don't
you.
worry, Roberto. Shall
Hi,
I repeat
everybody.
the sign for hi, welcome?
Yeah,
Shall
very
I
welcome.
repeat the sign form for you?
Yeah, can be good for me. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry for the
Here we
late,
are.
but
No problems. You're very welcome. Don't worry
thank
in the
you.
least.
Hi,
In any
everybody.
case, we started half an hour ago. So
Yes, I know.
because
Yes.
it was okay, right. So I've posted the link in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, so go, Ivo.
Crowds are thought to ... among our most intelligent birds.
Are thought to?
Are thought, crowds are thought to be.
To be, yes.
To be.
To be among our most intelligent birds.
The success of the American crow in adapting to civilization would seem to confirm
It.
It, okay. Despite the past attempts to exterminate them, crows are very common in farmlands.
Excuse me, Maria Pia.
Yes.
It will be wrong if we say would seem to confirm that.
I don't know. Personally, I think it could be accepted. Shall we try that?
For this, I don't know.
Success of the American crow in Japan seems to confirm this, anche this. Okay. Let's try this and then we'll check, the answers.
Okay.
So despite past attempts to exterminate them, crows
are very common in farmlands. Crows can still be seen in towns and cities. Crows,
Nidi forse, in inglese no.
No.
Maybe which?
Yes, I would say which.
No.
Crows, which are very common in farmlands, can still be seen in towns and cities.
Yes.
Their distinctive call
is a familiar sound of the continent. Is a familiar sound of maybe a symbol. No.
Sorry, over a
symbol. No.
Symbol.
No. Is a familiar sound of their distinctive cow. Cow, what is cow?
Cow è il loro suono. Noi diciamo cra cra. Cra cra. Loro dicono cow cow.
Familiar sound.
So their distinctive call is a familiar sound over a
part, a large part. of a country?
I would say great part, but I think there can be only one word.
I think so.
So only over a
Part.
part of the continent.
A part of the continent. Well, maybe.
Or especially when.
Sociable, especially
Sociable.
when
Are.
nesting. They are nesting.
It must be only one word.
When
They.
I would say not.
when
Sociable, especially when not
When
nesting, quando non hai
Ah.
piccolini. Direi io, però
when not nesting.
What means nesting?
Fare il nido?
nest è il nido. Nesting è covare, covare fondamentalmente.
Ok.
When not nesting, okay. Crows may gather in communal roosts on winter nights. Sometimes thousands
Of
them roosting in one grove. Most crows are adaptable and trusting. They are often shy, were persecuted. And trusting. But they are often shy.
And persecuted.
Maybe but.
Sometimes, no, come? Most crows are adaptable and trusting. But
they are often
shy,
were persecuted. Some become tame in towns. Tame, especially, well, I don't know.
And then they regularly visit gardens.
Some become tame.
Even.
Yes.
Even.
Okay, let's check. Okay, part and even are wrong, but how can I say the correct answer? I want the correct answer. Oh, show correct answers.
Especially. No?
Oh, okay, so there are also the various possibilities. So crows are thought to be among our most intelligent birds. The success of the American crow in adapting to civilization would seem to confirm this or that.
Okay, this, that.
Anche it poteva essere comunque. Despite past attempts to exterminate them, crows, which are very common in farmlands, can still be seen in towns and cities. Their distinctive call is a familiar sound over
una gran quantità di sì.
A lot of the continent.
Over a lot.
A lot of the continent. Vabbè. Sociable, especially when not nesting, crows may gather in communal roosts on winter nights. Sometimes thousands of them roost in one grove. Most crows are adaptable and trusting, but, oppure, though, oppure, although, oppure, however, they're often shy, were persecuted. Some become tame when in town. Okay. Vabbè. And then they regularly visit gardens.
What means tame?
Tame?
Yes, some become tame.
Yes. Tame mi dà, non mi dà. Ah no, che da giapponese invece. Allora, dall'inglese. Domare.
Domare. Ah, ok.
Addomesticati, diciamo.
Sì, come
Addomesticati.
sì.
Diventano domestici,
Familiari, insomma,
Esatto.
Sì.
Quando in città. And then they regularly visit gardens. Tame. Addomesticare sarebbe.
Domesticati.
Addomesticati. Domare mi dà come traduzione, però il senso è addomesticare. Ok. Right. Cosa vuol dire why?
E perché? No, non so.
Boh, cliccando non succede niente. Ok. Right. So, shall we try another one of the same type?
Yes.
Okay.
This is part 2. You have to insert the missing words. So, the swift. Okay, who wants to read it?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you.
The swifts are a family of highly aerial birds, which are superficially similar to swallows. Maybe switch?
Yeah.
They are, in fact, more closely related to hummingbirds. It cannot be denied that there are some strong resemblance between swift and swallows. This is due to some coincidences in evolution, which reflect similar lifestyles based on catching insects in flight. Swift are the fastest birds, the fastest
Maybe it will be
flying.
The fastest of birds.
Of birds. Of birds. Okay. Larger species are amongst the fastest flyers in the animal kingdom, and the common swift can cover enormous distances in a single year. This ability is due to the fact that swift wings have proportionately large wingtip bones. This allows them to alter the shape and area of their wings.
Okay.
The wings.
Okay, do you all agree?
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's on catching.
Oh,
yes.
perfect.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay, let's try another one. Do you want to try another one or do you want to try part 3?
Oh, it's okay.
Let's try maybe part 3. In part 3, you have to, again, usual text with 8 gaps, but you are given a word that you need to change to fit in. So, who wants to read it?
If you want, I can try. If
Yes, thank you, Stefania. Yes.
Rome is one of the most visited cities in the world. It proudly boasts ancient history dating back more than 2,500 years. Incredible architecture, museums, culture, and
incredible. I think it's incredible.
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 I would say incredible, not incredible.
No, incredible is better. Yes.
Yeah.
I think. That's why it isn't hard to see why this city is so immensely
What's immensely popular?
popular with tourists from all over the world. It is also quite a big city, as it has the fourth biggest
Populated.
Cos'era?
Population.
populated.
Population.
No, I direi population.
Fourth biggest population.
Fourth biggest population in the European Union.
Okay. For this reason, many tourists find themselves returning again and again to see what they weren't able to see the first time. Why Roman?
Mito. Allora,
Eh,
claims the city. Okay. Roman.
mythology.
Yes.
Claims it was founded around 753 BC. The site has actually been inhabited by humans. Inhabited by humans for much longer. This makes Rome one of the oldest
Continuously.
One of the oldest occupied continuously.
Occupied location in Europe.
Non lo so, what would you say, continued or continuously?
Continuously. Because there is occupied near. Or
continuously.
Occupied
location.
I think it has been a kingdom, a republic, an empire, and then a republic again. It even houses are tiny.
The tiny
independent country state.
Yes. Independent country state.
This only serves to add to its not
significatively.
No, add to its not.
It's not insignificantly.
Cultural importance and diversity. You direi not insignificant in cultural importance and diversity.
I think perhaps.
Okay, let's see. Oh my God. What was wrong? Show correct answers. Prima parte. Show correct answers. Mythology. Che imbecille, ho sbagliato a scrivere, scusate, my fault.
Sono tutti quanti
continuously.
Solo lo spelling,
Right.
È solo lo spelling.
Continuously. But it's important. And insignificant. Insignificant, not insignificant. Insignificant. Because sometimes it's un and sometimes it's in.
But they prefer in, I think.
Insignificant, cultural importance and diversity. Yes. Okay. No, mythology was really a stupid mistake. Continuously, it didn't sound right, but I didn't know, what could have been. Continuously. Right. And okay. Right. Okay. Would you like to try another one? Or do you want to go to part 4?
No, let's try again, please, because I found it hard.
Let's try another one. Okay. Who wants to read it? Somebody
do
who has...
I can,
Okay, go Roberto, thank you.
okay. You hear me? Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I'm not so good, so no, so
Don't
healthy.
worry,
Not,
don't worry.
I'm not so healthy. The pressure cooker was invented by Dennis Papin, who wanted to translate new discoveries in physics.
Qualcuno ha un'altra idea?
Discovery.
Discoveries.
Discoveries
Okay.
in physics about pressure and steam.
And steam into cooking. The trapped steam increases the internal pressure, thereby allowing the temperature to increase. This principle applied to cooking is highly convented.
This principle applied to cooking.
A convention.
Is highly unconventional. Okay. Raising the pressure also forces liquid and moisture. Moistly, I'm not so sure.
No,
I'm
no,
not so
moist
sure.
è l'umidità, quindi liquid, also forces liquid.
Moisture.
Ah, forse sì.
Probably.
Moisture.
Yes, into the food quickly.
Okay.
This helps it cook faster and also enables tough meat to get
tenderly.
Tenderless.
Yes.
No, to get tenderer, I would say.
Tender.
Comparative, tender.
Very quickly. But it is used most frequently around the world for beans and pulses, stews and vegetables. This dispense this
indispensable, maybe.
Hey.
Yes.
Cooking
utensil cook food faster than normal cooking methods. It's highly efficient because it uses far less energy than many other applied, I think.
Application.
Appliance.
Come difficile.
It's not easy.
It's very difficult.
Thank you, Maria Pia.
Let's check before you say thank you.
Yeah, so I tell you after. It really should be called the fast cooker because it's a fashionable tool.
Fascinating.
Yes,
fascinating tool, and good for many dishes in the kitchen.
Okay.
I'm not good in the kitchen.
Oh, tender is wrong. What's okay? Show correct answer. Tenderized. Ok, non voleva essere un comparativo, voleva essere proprio un verbo ammorbidite.
Tenderized.
Helps tough meat to get tenderized very quickly. Okay, tenderized.
It's not so simple.
No, it's not simple at all. From moisture. From convention, unconventional. discover, discoveries. Vabbè, io pensavo la carne dura farla più tenera, però invece farla ammorbidire, vabbè. Frequently, vabbè, questo era facile. Dispense, undispensable. Apply, appliances. Fascinate, fascinating. Want another one, or shall we try part 4? Let's go
Another
with
one.
part 4. Part 4. In part 4, come on, in part 4, you're given 6 sets of 2 sentences, and a keyword. Okay, giusto. And one of the sentences in each set includes a gap. You have to complete the gaps so that the sentence has a similar meaning to the previous one. Okay. Do not change the word given. And you must use between 2 and 5 words, including the one given. Okay. So, who wants to read it? Vediamo chi è che non ha ancora parlato. Stefania, Ilaria.
I do it.
Did you do it?
Yes. You should try and help he gives you.
Aspetta. The basic sentence is, you should try and take advantage of his help.
Okay.
You should try and
mostly.
no, you cannot change the word.
Okay.
The word is most, and you must keep it most. Any idea?
Get the mess up.
It's difficult.
It's more difficult than the other.
Try and get the most from the help he gives.
No more than 5 words, okay? Inside.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
yes,
okay, 5.
Get the most.
Number 2. Get the most of o get the most from vuol dire ottenere il massimo da. E siccome
My
qui
sister.
c'era...
Okay.
Okay.
My sister was involved in her school spelling competition.
Took part.
Yes.
Took part in
spelling competition.
Secondo voi bisogna anche mettere her, sì, forse her school. Took part in her school spelling competition. Because they must have the same meaning. So, okay. My sister took part in her school spelling competition. Number 3.
Were able to
could they grow anything here after the war?
Were able to grow.
Were they able to
grow anything here after the war?
It's very difficult.
Were they able to grow anything here after the war? Why didn't you call me? Asked Joe. Joe asked.
Why? I hadn't called him. Oh, no, I had not called him.
Sì, not c'era già, quindi Joe asked why I had not called him. Okay? Driving fast.
It's difficult.
They're not very easy. It's B2 level. Driving that fast was a stupid thing to do. If
Now, if you want to do something stupid, no,
you have to keep the same sentence, the same.
Ok, sì. No, perché c'era if davanti. If only you were driving so fast.
Weren't.
If only you were not driving so fast.
If only you were not driving so fast.
Okay, I'm wondering if it's the same meaning. Driving that fast was a stupid thing to do. If only you were not driving so fast. Ma non riesco a pensare a niente altro. If only. Perché if only you weren't so stupid as to driving so fast, but it's more than 5 words, so let's leave it like that. Finally, I hadn't seen my sister for about a year when I saw her last. Before I saw my sister again, after the last time I saw her. About
for a year.
A year had gone.
Exactly.
Had gone.
About a year had gone before I saw my sister again, after the last time I saw her. Okay, shall we check? Oh no, what's wrong?
Mistake.
Oh my God, that's very bad. Okay, let's see, show correct answers.
Okay.
You should try and make the most of the, okay, make invece che get, okay. Make the most of any, okay. Make invece che get. You should try and make the most of the help he gives you, or make the most of any help he gives you. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. Were they able to grow anything? Okay. Asked why I had. Asked why I had. What's the difference? Asked me. Okay, vabbè. If only you hadn't been.
I hadn't been. Perché dice?
You hadn't been driving so fast. If
Questa non l'avrei fatta mai bene io.
Sì, neanch'io.
I had not been driving so
Cioè, faccio difficoltà to translate.
Sì, ok, intanto invece che you era io. Driving that fast was a stupid thing to do, si riferiva a se stesso, non a qualcun altro. Vabbè. Se solo non avessi guidato così velocemente. If only I was not driving. Perché ho sbagliato?
Only perché you.
Sì, ok, you e I, va bene, ma if only I was not driving so fast, perché mi suona anche bene? If only I hadn't been driving so fast. Boh. Vabbè. Secondo me poteva anche andare if only I wasn't driving so fast. Però,
mi piacerebbe aiutarti, Maria Pia, ma non posso.
No, lo so, infatti.
It's not
I've seen my sister for about a year. About a year had gone. Okay, had gone by.
Yes.
Had gone by.
Gone by.
You're right. Before I saw my sister again. 50% is not enough.
No.
You need a minimum of 60% or over. Yes.
We can try again.
God. Let's try another one.
Well.
Okay. So who wants to try it?
I can do it. Okay.
Yes, Ivo.
I bought the ironing board, although it was expensive. I bought the ironing board in spite its cost. Of its cost.
Its cost.
In spite of. Okay. Maria is not talking to me because we had that argument. Maria would still be talking to me
if we didn't have.
If we did
No,
not.
dobbiamo lasciare had. If we
hadn't had.
If we hadn't had no. That argument. If I or if we?
Okay, so if we, because we had that argument.
We had. Okay. Okay. The concert is so expensive that I won't be able to go. I won't be able to go to the concert because of
it is too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Because it's too expensive.
Yes, because it's too expensive.
Too expensive. Okay. Linda's sister is not as nice as Linda. Linda is much
beautiful,
much
nicer than
or nicer, much
her
nicer
sister
than her sister. Just
Linda is much nicer than her sister.
Her sister, much nicer. Okay. No, much nice, but much nicer.
Molto più simpatica.
Ok.
Superlativo.
Molto più. Okay. They will start the match before we get there. The match have already started. They will start the match before we get there. The match.
By the time.
We'll have started by the time we arrive.
Do you agree? The match will have started. Sarà iniziato.
Sarà iniziato.
Quando arriveremo.
Future. The match will have started. Well, difficult. Okay. The last, would you like to go fishing with Dave? How about fishing with Dave?
Or how about going
to fish?
Okay, to go fishing. How about going fishing? Going fishing?
Going fishing
with
Dave.
How about going fishing with Dave?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, let's check.
Oh,
good.
What's this? What's wrong? Bored in spite of the coast invece che of its coast. Però anche qui secondo me poteva andare its coast. I bought the ironing in spite of the cost of its cost. Vabbè. I don't know. I think we could accept this, though.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, okay, that was good. Let's try part 5. In part 5, you're given a text with the 6 questions and 4 choices for each question. Identify the correct option by clicking on it. Okay. Who wants to read it? No one?
Can
Me.
try, okay. Mhm.
Okay. Who are you?
Go, Ivo.
Ivo,
Bye.
okay. Arctic ice management. The question, I can read now.
Yes, so read the first paragraph.
Okay, physics. Physicist Stephen Dutch has come up with a novel solution to the problems that now beset the Arctic. He and a team of colleagues from Arizona State University wanted to replenish the region's shrinking sea ice by building 10 million wind-powered pumps over the Arctic ice cap. In winter, this would be used to pump water to the surface of the ice where it would freeze, thickening the cap.
Bah, mi parli di del cavolo. Comunque, what is the writer's intention in the first paragraph? To criticize an existing way of doing things, to predict problems a project could face, to inform the reader about an innovative concept, to persuade influential bodies to undertake a course of action.
I think to inform the reader about
the sea.
Yes.
Letter
okay.
C.
Okay. Who wants to go on? Paragraph 2. Thank you.
The pumps could add an extra meter of sea ice to the Arctic's current layer. Dash argues. The current cap rarely exceeds 2-3 meters in thickness and is being eroded constantly as the planet succumbs to climate change.
Allora, constantly has been eroded constantly as the planet
succumbs to climate change. Thicker ice would mean longer lasting ice. In turn, that would mean the danger of all sea ice disappearing from the Arctic in summer would be reduced significantly.
Significantly.
Significantly. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So what outcome does the writer suggest in the second paragraph? The thinning of the sea ice could be halted. The risk of there being no sea ice in the future would be dramatically lowered. 2-3 meters of additional sea ice could be deposited. The constant erosion of the sea ice could be stopped. Beh, ce n'è più di uno che potrebbe andare bene. Allora, the pumps could add an extra meter to sea ice to the Arctic's current layer. The current cap rarely exceeds 2-3 meters in thickness and is being eroded constantly as the planet succumbs to climate change. Thicker ice would mean longer lasting ice. In turn, that would mean the danger of all sea ice disappearing from the Arctic in summer would be reduced significantly. Quindi the risk of there being no sea ice in the future would be dramatically lowered. Yes, I would say B.
Mhm.
Do you agree? Do you all agree? Siete tutti d'accordo?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to go on?
Me,
Okay, Laura.
hence dash scheme to use wind pumps to bring water, which is insulated from the bitter Arctic cold by its icy surface, where it will freeze and thicken the ice cap. Nor is the physicist alone in his Arctic scheming. Other projects to halt sea ice loss include one to artificially witten the Arctic by scattering light-colored aerosol particles over it to reflect the solar radiation back into space, and another to spray sea water into the atmosphere above the region to create clouds that would also reflect sunlight away from the surface.
Mamma mia, lascio in mano questi qua. Vabbè. Okay. What does the writer mean when he describes the water as being insulated in the third paragraph? The ice cap protects the water underneath from freezing. The effect of the sun prevents the water from getting too cold. Arctic water is colder. Pollution in the water makes it difficult for it to freeze. Allora, rileggiamolo. To bring water which is insulated from the bitter Arctic cold by its icy surface. Okay, so since there is an icy surface, the water underneath is insulated from the cold.
Okay.
So the ice cap protects the water underneath from freezing. Okay. The effects of the sun prevents the water from the Arctic water is colder, pollution in the water. I think number A.
Okay, letter A.
Okay, who wants to go on?
I do.
Okay, Ilaria, thank you.
Last November, when sea ice should have begun thickening and spreading over the Arctic as winter set in, the region warmed up. Temperatures should have plummeted to minus 25 degrees, but receded several degrees above freezing instead. It's been above 20 degrees warmer than normal over most of the Arctic Ocean. This is unprecedented.
Okay, can I read it again, please? Last November, when sea ice should have begun thickening and spreading over the Arctic as winter set in, the region warmed up. Temperatures should have plummeted to minus 25 degrees centigrade or Celsius, but reached several degrees above freezing instead. It's been about 20 degrees Celsius or centigrades warmer than normal over most of the Arctic Ocean. This is unprecedented.
Okay.
So, what objective is the writer describing at the end of the third paragraph? Cleaning the ice that has been discolored. Increasing the amount of snow that falls on the ice. Making the thickness of the ice uniform, preventing the sun from impacting the ice. This is the third paragraph, yes. 1, 2. Oh no, this is the third paragraph. Okay, sorry. Because I couldn't find. Okay, so paragraph 1, 2, 3. Okay, the end of the third paragraph is other projects to halt sea ice loss include one to artificially whiten the Arctic by scattering light-colored aerosol particles over it to reflect solar radiation back into space, and another to spray seawater into the atmosphere above the region to create clouds that would also reflect sunlight away from the surface. Okay, so what objective is the writer describing at the end of the third paragraph? Cleaning the ice that has been discolored, increasing the amount of snow that falls on the ice, making the thickness of the ice uniform, preventing the sun from impacting the ice. What would you say?
I go for C.
Letter D. D.
I would say preventing the sun from impacting the ice, because you see, part to reflect the solar radiation back into space, sprays to create clouds that will also reflect sunlight away from the surface. So I would say preventing the sun from impacting the ice. And now there is this last November when the sea ice, blah, blah, blah. What is the writer referring to with the word this at the end of paragraph 4? Conditions that have never happened before. Conditions that happen very rarely. Normal winter conditions, conditions that were predictable.
The first.
Yes. Okay, and finally, who wants to read it?
To me.
Okay.
In fact, sea ice growth stalled during the second week of January in the heart of the Arctic winter, while the ice cap actually retreated within the Kara and the Barents Seas and within the Sea of Okhotsk. Similarly, the Svalbard archipelago, normally shrouded in ice, has remained relatively free because of the inflow of warm Atlantic water along the western part of the island chain. Consequently, although there has been some recovery, sea ice remains well below all previous record lows.
Yes, relatively free. Okay. So, what reason does the writer give in the final paragraph for the sea ice not getting thicker? The winds from the north are too warm. The ice cap is not thick enough. Seismic activity under the ice had an effect. Warm water currents affected the formation of the ice.
Warm Atlantic water.
Inflow of a warm Atlantic water.
Maybe.
Wind from the north, yes, cap. Activity, warm water currents affected the formation of the ice.
I think.
Okay. I'm, wondering if it could be B, though. The ice cap is not thick enough.
Where
Okay,
the ice caps.
let's try D.
Mhm.
And let's see. Birba, say one.
Okay.
Oh, it's good.
Okay, all correct. Fantastic.
Oh,
Good. Would you
it
like
was for-
another one,
it-
or
it
shall we
was for-
pass
it was
to
for a
parts? Was it difficult?
Yes, a little bit.
Completely.
Shall we try another one?
Yes.
Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so who wants to read it?
And me, Roberta.
Okay, thank you, Roberta.
A Welsh biologist once criticized for stealing eggs from the nest of the rarest bird in the world has been awarded the Nobel Prize of Conservation after his controversial method saved 9 species from extinction. Professor Carl Jones won the 2016 Indianapolis Prize, the highest accolade in the field of animal conservation, for his 14 years of work in Mauritius, where he saved an endangered crestal from becoming the next dodo. In the first paragraph, the writer's intention is to draw a contrast between how different parts of society see conservation, how geographical perspective affect conservation, the way different species are treated, past and present circumstances. Probably the D, because they call the dodo, it's extinto.
Yes.
How do you say extinto species?
Extinct.
Extinct, okay.
Extinction and so on.
Extinct, okay.
Yes, I think past and present circumstances, because he was once criticized for stealing eggs, blah, blah, blah. And then
okay.
He got blah, blah, blah. Okay. Who wants to go on?
I go.
Okay, thank you, Roberto.
When the 61 years old first traveled to the East African island in the 70s, 1970s, he was told to close down a project to save the Mauritius kestrel. At that time, there were just 4 left in the wild, making it the rarest bird on Earth. However, he stayed implementing the controversial techniques of captive breeding and a strategy known as a double clutching, which involved snatching eggs from the birds' nests and hatching them under incubators, prompting the mothers to lay another set of eggs in the wild.
Okay, yes. So,
I try to focus the meaning. Okay.
Shall I reread it for you?
Yes, thank you.
When the 61-year-old, this Welsh biologist, first traveled to the East African island in the 1970s, he was told to close down a project to save the Mauritius kestrel. At the time, there were just 4 left in the wild, making it the rarest bird on Earth. However, he stayed implementing the controversial techniques of captive breeding and a strategy known as double clutching, which involved snatching eggs, rubare furtivamente le uova, from the birds' nests and hatching them under incubators e farle covare sotto le incubatrici, prompting the mothers to lay another set of eggs in the wild. spingendo le madri a depositare un'altra serie di uova nella cosa selvatica, no? Quindi, how does the writer describe the plight of the Mauritius kestrel in the second paragraph? Desperate, promising, predictable, surprising.
Mm. But there were just 4 in the wild. Perhaps it can be the last. The last.
Yes. So
Desperate.
I can say
desperate.
desperate.
Yes.
Desperate.
Desperate. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you want to go on, Roberto, or somebody else?
I can if nobody wants.
Okay.
I can go.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
A decade later, the number of Mauritius kestrels had soared to over 300, and today there are around 400 in the wild. The biologist has also been integral in efforts to bring other rare species back from the brink of extinction, including the pink pigeon, echo parakeet, and the Rodrigues warbler.
Sì, io penso che questa sia echo parakeet, but I don't know. Okay, right. So, how does the writer feel about Professor Jones' influence on other endangered species? He was the source of unnecessary conflicts. His participation was indispensable. His ideas were considered unorthodox. He was thought to be too selective.
For me, can be B.
You all agree?
Mhm.
Okay. Who wants to go on? Or if you want to go on, Roberto, whoever wants, no problems.
I can try, okay.
Okay, thank you.
He is credited with championing the idea of ecological replacement, which is a conservation tactic in which other species fill in important ecological roles once held by extinct species. Professor Jones, originally from St. Clair's, near Carmarthen, was awarded the $250,000 prize at a ceremony at the Natural History Museum in London.
Yes, species.
Species.
Okay. What does the writer mean with the word championing in paragraph 4? He is credited with championing the idea of ecological replacement. Choosing one species over another, projecting a win at any cost mentality, being the driving force, having an inclusive attitude.
A.
Sorry?
Projecting a win at any cost mentality.
Having an inclusive attitude. No.
Having inclusive vehicle.
Can be A, perhaps.
Okay, he's credited with championing the idea of ecological replacement, which is a conservation tactic in which other species fill in important ecological roles once held by extinct species.
I don't know.
Personally, I would say being the driving force, but I don't know, chooses one species over another, projecting a win at any cost mentality, being the driving force, having an inclusive attitude.
Because
I don't
are
know.
different species. I don't know.
What would you like to
I
say?
think B, because
B?
the Nobel
Projecting.
the prize he received, but about the project.
Personally, I would say C, but I don't know.
Roberto says hey,
we are
D.
sharing.
I say F.
We are sharing to the
You say D. Okay,
No,
so
no.
what would you like to say? Shall we say B?
Yes, B.
B.
Okay.
We try B.
We try with B. Okay.
Let's try with B. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Who wants to go on? Reflecting.
Me.
Okay, thank you.
Reflecting on the start of his career, he said the Mauritius Kestrel project had been seen as a dead loss at the time. He had originally gone out there for 1 or possible 2 years, only to be told to pull out of the project and hand it over to the locals. At the time, they didn't have the money or expertise to do it, so that would essentially have meant closing it down.
In what way does the writer feel the professor was let down in the 5th paragraph? He wasn't given his due respect. The money he was promised never materialized. His living conditions were not acceptable. The duration of the project was altered abruptly. Com'era quella questione?
Didn't have the money.
Mm-hmm. But the locals, at the time, the locals didn't have the money or expertise to do it. And so that would essentially have meant closing it down. He had originally gone out there for 1 or possible 2 years, only to be told to pull out of the project and hand it over to the locals. He wasn't given his due respect. The money he was promised never materialized. His living conditions were not acceptable. The duration of the project was already altered abruptly. I would say D, but of course, if you want to say B, it's okay. Whatever you prefer.
Maybe or B or D, or B or D.
Say D, la durata del progetto era stata brutalmente cambiata, perché dice, dov'è qua? The project had been seen as a dead loss at the time. He had originally gone out there for 1 or possible 2 years, only to be told to pull out of the project. Cioè era lì solo da 1 anno, massimo 2, quando gli è stato detto di ritirarsi dal progetto and hand it over to the locals.
Pull out means
Pull out, tirarsi fuori.
Exit. Okay.
E lasciarlo nelle mani dei locali.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, they didn't have the money or expertise to do it. So that would essentially have meant closing it down. I think they refers to the locals. Or do you think they refers to the men in the project?
This is the question.
I think they refers to the locals. And so he said, if I handed it over to the locals, they didn't have the money or expertise to do it. And that would have meant closing it down. So I think the correct answer is the duration of the project was altered abruptly.
Okay.
Let's try this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So then in the 1970s, who wants to read it?
From me, okay. In the 1970s, there was a fierce opposition to the captive breeding techniques, with the critics arguing that they were too risky and took the emphasis off breeding in the wild. But the biologist, now chief scientist of the B2a Wildlife Conservation Trust and the scientific director of the Mauritian Wildlife Foundation, said the method of taking eggs from the nests had worked exceedingly well.
What conclusions does the professor draw from winning the prize? Ah no, allora dobbiamo leggere dopo.
Yeah, the one, yeah.
Okay.
Professor Jones has dedicated his whole life to his work, only becoming a father for the first time 8 years ago, at 53. He said receiving the prize was particularly important to him because it vindicated his work to save birds, whereas previous winners have tended to concentrate on more high-profile species, like polar bear or elephant.
Okay, what conclusions? He felt justified in saving a less publicized group. The pride his family felt made the suffering worthwhile. He appreciated finally being considered important. He understood how fortunate he was.
The C, probably, because it was considered for the work doing.
Yes, or A, he felt justified in saving a less publicized group, not polar bears or elephants, but birds.
Yes.
So A or C, he appreciated finally being considered important.
Because he said receiving the prize was particularly important to him because he vindicated his work. But I don't know.
Save birds. Whereas previous winners have tended to concentrate on more high-profile species like polar bears or elephants.
Yeah.
So,
probably.
Do you want C or do you want A?
Probably A, because...
A.
Shall we try?
A. Yeah.
A.
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
only one mistake.
yes. Show correct answer. Being the driving force. Yes, I told you. Because he's credited with the championing the idea of ecological replacement. So being the driven force of this idea of ecological replacement, which is a conservation tactic in which other species fill in important blah, 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 blah. So championing means support, convincingly. Okay, so part 6, on the contrary, part 6 is the one in which you're given a text with the 6 blank spaces. And you have to insert the correct sentence. Okay?
Okay.
So, the monarch butterfly. Ma è tutto sugli animali questa roba, che palle. Okay, who wants to read it?
Oh dear. Okay, one of the most spectacular natural phenomena in the world is the annual migration across North America of the monarch butterfly. I have to put one of these
Yes,
inside.
but let's also read the following sentence.
Okay.
Because
In practice, however, no individual butterfly complete the entire round trip.
Okay. No, ma giusto per capire cosa ci va in mezzo.
Okay.
So this was the first time such a combination of high winds and rain.
No.
The biggest danger to their habitat comes from illegal. No. Many of the butterflies are eaten by birds. No. They have had limited success in this endeavor.
Fanno la migration dalla monarch butterfly dal Nord America.
In theory, these small insects cover a round trip of over 15,000 kilometers.
Maybe this one.
No, probably the monarch female.
In theory,
he said in theory and then in practice.
Exactly. In practice, however, no individual butterfly. Okay, right. Then, no, we should maybe move it. No, what are we supposed to do? No. Okay, right. I don't know how I did it, but I did it somehow. Okay, so who wants to go on?
Me. In practice, however, no individual butterfly completes the entire round trip. Female monarchs lay eggs for the next generation during the northward migration, and at least 5 generations are involved in the annual cycle. There are many different migration routes, both in the northern and southern hemispheres, but the eastern population starts its journey in Canada and finishes in Mexico. Storms earlier than this year blew down more than 100 acres of forest and so on.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay.
So,
the biggest danger to the animal.
So?
I didn't see the first one.
Oh, sorry. The first one is, this was the first. Let's try and put it in here. There are many different migration routes, both in the northern and southern hemispheres, but the eastern population starts its journey in Canada and finishes in Mexico. Okay. This was the first time such a combination of high winds, rain, and freezing temperature had occurred in this area. Storms earlier this year blew down more than 100 acres of forests, where migrating monarch butterflies spend the winter in central Mexico. I think this is not the correct one. I think these beautiful creatures travel enormous distances. perché è venuto fuori for one reason? Okay, for one reason. Okay. Storms earlier this year blew down more than 100 acres of forest. Sorry, Laura, you were reading. Vai.
Storms earlier this year blew down more than 100 acres of forests where migrating monarch butterflies spend the winter in central Mexico. These storms also appear to have frozen or killed about 7 millions. And what is millions? Of the estimated 84 million butterflies that wintered here. This highlights just how fragile these forests are and how fragile the monarchs are.
So maybe this was the first time such a combination of high winds, rain, and freezing temperatures had occurred in this area. This highlights just
how fragile these forests are and how fragile the monarchs are. They depend on finding a relatively well-preserved forest where millions of the orange and black butterflies hanging.
So, okay, this was the first time l'abbiamo già messo. The biggest danger to their habitat comes from illegal lodging. Many of the butterflies are eaten by birds. They have had limited success in this endeavor. Com'era la frase? In theory, okay, these beautiful creatures travel enormous distances for one reason, l'abbiamo già messo. This is where some extremely sad news comes from. I don't know, let's go on. And then we'll go back.
Yes.
They depend, go on, Laura.
They depend on finding relatively well-preserved forests where millions of the orange and black butterflies hang in clumps from the branches and mate. The trees and the clumping help to protect the butterflies from cold rains and steep drops in temperature. Conservationists have tried to convince the largely impoverished farm and mountains communities, which actually is, and so on. There's more.
Okay.
Okay,
maybe B.
The biggest.
Can we try with B?
The bigger, yeah.
Okay,
The biggest.
let's try.
Because
with
it's hard
B.
to go up and down every time.
This highlights just how fragile these forests are and how fragile the monarchs are. The biggest danger to their habitat comes from illegal lodging. They depend on finding relatively well-preserved forests, where millions of the orange and black butterflies hang in clumps from the branches and mate. The trees and the clumping help to protect the butterflies from cold rains and steep drops in temperature. No, doveva essere messo
Maybe
B.
B is number 5.
Sì, scusa. qua era? Conservationists have tried to convince the largely impoverished farmer, blah, 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 which actually own most of the land, that the forest is worth more to them in terms of tourism when left standing instead of being cut down. The future looks black indeed for these intrepid and elegant travelers.
So the 6 is the bad.
This one?
Yeah.
Or maybe number 4.
So what's left for number 4? This highlights just how fragile these forests are and how fragile the monarchs are. They depend on finding relatively well-preserved forests, blah, blah, blah.
I would say G in number 4, not in number 5, maybe number 4.
So extremely sad, the new comes from.
They have had limited success in this endeavor. Dove lo mettiamo questo? They have had limited success in this endeavor. Okay, we can put this one here, D here. So conservationists have tried to convince blah, blah, blah. They have limited success in this endeavor. The future looks bleak instead. Okay, and
G is number 4.
G is number 4. This is where news come from. They depend. Okay, shall we try this one? Shall we try it? Let's see.
Let's go. Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, this is correct. This is not correct. Let's see what's the correct answer. Okay, this is where some extremely sad news comes from. There are many different migration routes, both in the northern and southern hemispheres. But the eastern population starts its journey in Canada and finishes in Mexico. This is where some extremely sad news comes from. Storms earlier this year blew down more than 100 acres of forests, where migrating monarch butterflies spend the winter in central Mexico. And okay, this is correct. The highlight, this is these beautiful creatures travel enormous distances for one reason. They depend on finding relatively well-preserved forests. Beh, effettivamente. The big danger to their habitat comes from illegal logging. Beh, ma questo è quello che abbiamo messo noi, I don't know why they said it's wrong, because it's the same answer. Maybe because there's a space in here. I don't know. Maybe I should have. No. How can I?
Maybe it was the second trial.
No, maybe there's a space. There shouldn't be. Maybe it was supposed to be like that. But anyway, this is correct. Anyway. And they have had limited success in this. Here again, you see, no, it wasn't so bad. We only mistook one. The other ones are correct. Only it didn't recognize it as correct because there are some empty spaces.
Oh.
Okay. This means you have to be careful when you click and move please check there are no empty spaces in between, because probably on a second sight they would give it, you know, as correct. But if it's only computer-based correction, the computer says it's wrong, while it isn't. I mean, it's exactly the same answer. So it was only a matter of needless spaces in between, but I didn't check that. Okay, so actually there was only one wrong. This was wrong, and it was supposed to go there, and vice versa, of course. Okay, so it wasn't so bad as it looked, at least. Okay, so I'm going to send you the what is it? The link to go to this page and try some more exercises.
Oh, thank you,
Maria. Try
Maria.
part 7.
Okay.
We didn't try part 7. Part 7 is, what was part 7? Text divided into sections and a set of questions. Okay. Okay, questions on the text. Okay. Yes, there are a set of, you know, texts and a set of questions, and you have to combine the question with the correct text, A, B, C, or D. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for today. I'm going to send you this link so that you can try by yourselves if you have time during the week. See you next Thursday. We'll go back to the usual time, 5 to 7 next Thursday. And have a good evening.
Thank you, Maria Pia.
Bye, Maria Pia.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Maria Pia.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
Okay.
we have
All right.
signed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
again. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Maria Pia,
Yes.
can I have a question very, very little for you, please?
Yeah.
I'm in COVID from today, so I have to spend the time. I have free time to spend. Can you can you suggest me, please, an actor, an English actor that a very good accent for you can be useful for me?
An actor.
Actor there for a movie. Can I? So
Yes,
I
to
learn.
watch some movie. I'll think about it and let you know.
Okay, perfect. If you have an actor that has very excellent accent in English.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Ian McKennell, I was told. Ian McKennell.
Perfetto. I'm going to check out about him. Ian McKennell. You are writing me in the chat?
No, sorry.
Okay.
Ian McKennell. McKellen.
Perfect. I need.
Okay. All right.
Grazie. Have a
He's
good night.
British at least, so he has a good accent.
Perfect. Grazie a your daughter.
Or I was also told, sir, but
Yeah, McKellen, I don't know.
No,
who
but he performed for this.
No, he's also an actor, Mom.
He's also an actor. Okay, my daughter knows much better than
Hi,
thank you.
sorry, I was just passing here.
Patrick.
Ciao, grazie. Thank you so much. Because I need to stay in the bed
Okay,
for
Sir
10 days.
Patrick Stewart.
Perfect.
Oh my God, how are you feeling?
Young. I think they are young. No. Okay.
No, they're not
I'm gonna
young.
check.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna check.
How are you feeling though? How are you feeling? Are you feeling okay?
Yes, I just knew that a couple of hours ago that I'm positive, so I need to stay for 10 days
Yes.
close.
But,
No, I'm quite good. I'm quite good. I'm not so
okay,
bad.
all right.
Yeah, and now I'm better
Okay.
with now I'm better with you. So
Okay.
grazie.
Right.
Thank you. I'm
Okay,
gonna also
bye.
ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao, ciao,
Bye-bye.
ciao, ciao,
Ciao.
ciao.